2, 1.
This is Chargers Unleashed podcast. Here are your hosts, Dan Wolkenstein and Jake Hefner.
Welcome to another edition of Chargers Unleashed. Jake Hefner and Dan Wolkenstein here with you from the LAFB Network. Today's show, of course, being brought to you by UFC Fit in Temecula, Golden Road Brewery, Charger Bolt Family, and Tick Pick. If you are new to the show, you can, of course, like and subscribe us on YouTube. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Of course, wherever you choose to digest your weekly podcast, either on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, wherever it may be, Chargers Unleashed, make sure you click the like and subscribe button to give us a listen. Dan Wolkenstein. This has been an interesting week. It is New Year's Eve. And what a ride it has been. I know normally probably everybody was thinking about tuning in to talk about the pivotal Chargers-Denver Bronco matchup that is coming up tomorrow. And we will get to that. We will be releasing that episode tomorrow. But Dan Wolkenstein got to thinking, and this was actually his idea for this particular episode, because this podcast in particular has had a hell of a 2021. Didn't even start off the best, but has ended on a very high note. And Dan thought to himself and brought the idea to me, and I loved it. There's been a lot of great moments on this show, and kind of like a year in review, if you will. Dan Wolkenstein decided to compile all of the best moments, whether we're talking about gimmicks that we've talked about on the show, obviously the laundry list of guests that have been kind enough to come on and join this show. This is almost kind of just like a give back episode, just to kind of remember what 2021 was for Chargers Unleashed. So this was all Dan's idea, and I got to give him the credit on this. He spent a lot of time compiling all this footage together. So Dan, I mean, as far as just 2021 goes, anything off the top of your head? I mean, I know we're obviously going to get into all the recap here in a second, but anything that just jumps out in your brain as far as just like, oh yeah, that was a moment, or that was a moment?
Yeah, it's a good question. You're right, though. 2021 has been like a hell of a journey from Mark 2.0 to Mark 3.0 now, LAFB, and seeing kind of what this whole thing has kind of become, seeing kind of our stuff grow, getting to talk with all the Chargers players and beat writers and everyone, all the kind of great friends of the show. Like that, we are very thankful and grateful for all of the fellow podcasts, for everyone that we've been able to talk to on the show. And so, yeah, the next, like, we have two parts. Part one now, part two is probably going to be tomorrow. We have basically a whole bunch of compilation of all of the kind of best moments from all of these special guests that we've had this year for Chargers Unleashed. In terms of favorite moments, I mean, like, there were so many, and I know that's cliche. I can't just pick one. But, I mean, thinking through, I think getting a chance to talk to Rashawn Slater, I think was a fun one, being able to talk with him. Our conversation we had with Drue Tranquill, honestly, I think was probably one of the most like insightful and thoughtful player discussions we've ever had. Fanboy for a sec, I think talking to Nas Adderley, like both of us were riding that hype train since day one. Yep. And now kind of seeing him ball out. Like that was fun. So there's a ton. I mean, Dan Fouts we got to talk to. Like there was a ton. But I will say, I think Mike Williams, and getting a chance to talk with him and watching him kind of clap back at a lot of people who were kind of second guessing him throughout the offseason and preseason stuff. That was fun. But honestly, it was all great. We've had so many good relationships with so many good people, all the players, the staff, people on social media, everyone on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the people that come in on all the shows that are live and giving us comments. Like, it's been kind of crazy. But it has been a wild ride. And I think going back and kind of doing this has been very nostalgic. So I'm like, man, I cannot believe it. And sometimes, Jake, like, it's easy to forget, like, just how much you have accomplished, we have accomplished, anyone has accomplished over the year. And 2021's been a real challenge for a lot of people, both in football with the Chargers as well as just in life. And to kind of be able to go back and see some of the highlights and some of the funnier moments we've had, it has been a real treat, and I can't wait for everyone to be able to kind of watch and listen. All of the episodes we've had with guests, what would you say top of mind? Ones that stand out to you?
Dan Fouts is obviously up there just because I think it was just it's Dan Fouts being in Dan Fouts' element. I think it's also just from just him sitting in his living room and where he was doing the show with us. And then for the mere fact that his wife is just right behind the camera, even like giving him some answers or even just throwing out her own opinion. It was just seeing someone in their element like that for a guy who's had just such a amazing football career on top of now what he's done as broadcasting, obviously as a Hall of Famer on top of everything else. It was just cool to see that type of element. Friend of the show, Fernando Ramirez. It's funny. I think before we actually put the show out that everybody sees, I feel like there is a show within itself that goes on 30 minutes before we actually start recording, because we literally just come on here and it's just nothing but shooting the shit, bullshitting with one another. And then we remember to ourselves like, oh yeah, we actually have a show to do. Let's hit record and start talking about all this stuff. From the player standpoint, you mentioned Drue Tranquill. Again, another person in that type of element, for him to take the call when he did while he was getting treatment on a massage table and to give those type of answers that he was giving. I loved the first episode that we ever did under the Chargers Unleashed banner with Trevor Sikkema. That was right in the high point of draft season. And to hear everything that he gave as far as his home run pick scenarios for who he picked. And he called it. It was Rashawn Slater was the home run pick. And then it was just a few days later or a few weeks later that prediction ended up coming in reality. God, you think about some of the other ones. Man, oh man, Uchenna Nwosu was great. I loved that interview with him. Nas Adderley, and listening, especially pairing off the questions that we asked both Chris Harris and Nas Adderley, to comparing them one another, especially the jumpsuit one, which nobody wants to pay to see me in a jumpsuit because you'll just want your money back. There's just been too many good moments to count, but every single one of the players that's been courteous enough to come on here, you keep going down the line with just the broadcast associates, Chris Hayre, Matt Money Smith. We've had Haley Elwood on the show. It's been a lot, Dan. It really has. And it's incredible to think that this was all rolled up in less than 12 months, still under the 2021 banner, but less than 12 months. It's been a ride and it's been awesome.
Yeah, if there was, before we go into it, we have one more day of 2021. What are the things what are the things that you are most grateful for in regards to this show, whether it's the Chargers, this show, the network?
I think it's some of the relationships that we've cultivated along the way, Dan, more specifically you, but obviously we got to start off with Ryan DeRude for giving us the opportunity to be on this platform in a very uneasy time for where this podcast was in January and February of early this year. He gave us an opportunity, and it has been nothing short of amazing as far as what it's turned into. Ryan has been a great leader for us, this podcast, the network in general. And so we definitely owe him a high gratitude of thanks. Dan, some of the personal relationships that you've made with the Chargers organization that has helped us get some of the players that we have had on this show. Other people in the Chargers community that both you and I previously didn't interact with. Some of the guys from our fellow podcasts, whether we're talking about Guilty as Charged, Chargers Chat, Locked on Chargers. I mean, you name it. It's been great to just kind of have this forum to connect with everyone, to talk with everyone. Hey, how about the Chargers Unleashed hotline? Getting a chance to talk to the fans. Can't leave that out. So it's been great. There's been a lot to be grateful for, and just to see it grow over the way it has been something truly amazing.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there aren't many people left that you haven't already called out, so I'm just going to ditto everything you just said. Obviously, grateful for you, Jake. Grateful for all the blood, sweat, and tears we've put in this metaphorically and sometimes literally, depending on the losses.
Depending on what week it is. Last week there was a lot of blood and a lot of tears.
And a lot of brown stuff if you were needing some apathy, liquid courage.
That is correct.
But not to say above all else, but I think equally as important to kind of call out is just every single one of you listeners, viewers, folks who have made us a part of your routine, subscribed, left a comment, made a review, hit the bell notification, clicked a like, retweet, looked into getting one of the giveaways. Like, there's been so many moments that I have been able to kind of go back and think through, like, I cannot believe that this happened. And it's all because of the listeners, whether it's like getting able to like go to Cincinnati and like going and finding a game front row with some friends that I call very close now, from a random listener, being able to hang out with a director like randomly on like the Steelers game and doing live shows from a brewery and seeing, I mean, there's so many things that we have been able to do with listeners and fans and friends of the show and the community that I can't thank you. We can't thank you enough for your support, for helping us out, for giving us a listen and a chance. But enough of the mushy gushy stuff. Jake, are we ready? Let's get this show on the road. 2021 recap, special guest version. We've got this in two parts. Part one coming up. Anything else you want to tell the good people before we let this thing roll?
As the director would say, lights, camera, action. Talking with Kyzir White here on Chargers Unleashed.
Mr. Chris Rumph, ladies and gentlemen. Asante Samuel Jr. Chargers left tackle Rashawn Slater is a man of the people.
I love pizza.
Starting free safety, Nas Adderley.
Please welcome Trevor Sikkema to the show. Trevor, how are you, sir?
I am doing great.
Mr. Tre McKitty. Tre, thank you for coming on to Chargers Unleashed. Playmaker, Uchenna Nwosu. Uchenna, thank you for joining us. Mr. Holada, Mr. Born Ready, Mike Williams, Mr. Nick Hardwick has been kind enough to sit down with us on Chargers Unleashed to talk about Chargers football.
And I looked at my phone and it's like, hey, Rashawn, this is Justin Herbert. I'm the quarterback for the Chargers. I was like, I know who you are. Like, you don't have to say all that. But
we are number 89 of your Los Angeles Chargers. Donald Parham is Kyler Fackrell. We are pleased to introduce Drue Tranquill. Sorry I was trapping. Give us the lowdown on that. What's that about?
Lover of corn dogs, Fernando Ramirez joins the show. Fernando, how are you, buddy?
Mr. Dan Fouts has been gracious enough to sit down with us. The one and only Matt Money Smith. He is the voice of the Los Angeles Chargers.
Through and through, man to man, I do believe this Chargers defensive roster is better than the Rams defensive roster last year.
Coach Staley just brings so much energy to our team.
Have you seen Infinity War and Endgame?
No. And everyone. What are some of the tasks that these veterans have going for you?
Yeah, I'm not gonna go into detail. Just know I gotta do some research on the state bird by Friday.
He wears the number 44 on the field, but the swag check is up to 100 right now.
Who would be the realistic home run pick for the Chargers at 13?
Protector of Justin Herbert's blindside. Without further ado, number 70 on the jersey, but number 1 in the hopes for all Chargers fans in round 1 of the NFL draft. We had Chris Rumph on the show a while back, and he told us about some rookie homework assignments, and he had one on the state bird. How did he do with his homework? And what can you tell us about your rookie homework assignment? Wearing the single digit on defense, K9 Kenneth Murray.
Movie genre, comedy or drama. I'll say suspense and horror.
Ooh,
nice. Oh, that just made my day right there.
Jake's loving that one.
That made my day right there.
Yes. I like dramas, and I like good comedies, but good comedies are kind of hard to find sometimes.
Secret door number 3. I love it.
Chris Hayre has been kind enough to join us again on Chargers Unleashed. Jay-Z or Dr. Dre?
I'm from the West Coast. We gotta go Dr. Dre.
Wearing number 61 for your Chargers, Mr. Nick Hardwick has been kind enough to sit down with us on Chargers Unleashed to talk about Chargers football.
Through and through, man to man, I do believe this Chargers defensive roster is better than the Rams defensive roster last year. So he's got a lot to work with. Bringing that system over, getting those guys up to speed is going to be a great challenge.
You were sitting in a trophy case And let's just say you were less than fully dressed.
Sat up there cross-legged and closed my eyes, and he put the lid back over the top of me, and we just kind of waited there for a while for people to start to show up to work. And I kept my eyes closed, and thankfully there's some pictures, some video or some picture evidence that it did take place. So when I'm old, I won't think that I was crazy looking back. But
and of course, now we've had Matt Money Smith on Chargers Unleashed. Man, I don't think we can get any better from here, Jake.
Yeah, you probably could. You could probably get a lot better from here, but it's not a bad.
Now, let's go back to draft night or close after. Who was the first Chargers player to call you after you were drafted?
It was Justin. Like, even before I got interviews, I looked at my phone. It was really funny. I was after I got picked, there's like, before you say hi to your family again, like you celebrate, you take a picture together, and then like you talk to the media for a couple hours. And I was like in between doing stuff, and I looked at my phone and it's like, hey, Rashawn, this is Justin Herbert. I'm the quarterback for the Chargers. I was like, I know who you are. Like, you don't have to say all that, but yeah, it was Justin. It was funny.
What do you foresee your Madden rating being at the end of the year, week 18?
Oh, so it changes throughout the year? I didn't even know that. I don't know, man. I'd love to see. I'm excited for the journey. I mean, obviously, I want to see it rise. I want to play really well and earn that. I don't even know what's like an all-pro rating. Maybe like high 80s, low 90s.
I mean, I think Brian Balaga, I want to say, was like 89. I think this year.
Well, yeah, I want to be right up there. I want to earn that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the pride of Great Valley High School in Pennsylvania, the former Fighting Blue Hens standout, number 24 on the field. But let's be real, number 1 when it comes to college hype videos.
Because even like in like pregame warm-ups, he'll throw like a 60, 70-yard back shoulder. And I'm like, yo, why do you throw the ball so good?
Because, he's making some throws that's just like, there's no way that should have been made, but he makes them. And, so it's just a really exciting person to play with.
Like, what makes him different?
Because he's Justin Herbert. I mean, I don't blow smoke up people's rear ends. Like, if I really do think that somebody's good, I can tell you. And this kid is something else. Brandon sat down with him, and they went through every single game that he played last year, every single snap he played. And Brandon explained to him what the opposing defense was doing. I think he's really going to grow this season. Would I be surprised if Justin threw 55 touchdowns this year, broke the record, and was just had a laser for an arm and maybe the league MVP? No, I wouldn't be surprised. Would I be surprised if he regressed? Hell yes, I would be.
Jake, this is Nazir Adderley.
I know, man.
Yes, sir.
Finally. Been waiting for this one for a long time, sir.
I love it, man. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us, man.
Thank you for joining. You are on the caboose and the hype train with us.
Mr. Tre McKitty. Tre, thank you for coming on to Chargers Unleashed.
Shoot, I'm going to be out here working.
Strap is joining the show.
What is one thing that you're confident that you could defeat Keenan Allen in?
Ooh, outside of football?
Outside of football.
Man, we got a lot of kids. I think he's trying to catch me now. But I think I can get him in bowling or something, man. Bowling.
There you go.
Ping pong.
Nice.
Chess. I don't know if he plays chess.
Just find the things he doesn't play, and you'll be good.
Give him some things. What options? Which one do you want to play?
Chris, what player on the Chargers are you most looking forward to see playing in 2021?
Oh, Derwin James, easy. Drue Tranquill, too. Them two. I go with both of those.
Who would you say is the most underrated player on this team? Like, he doesn't get the recognition that he deserves. You're like, man, if they only knew.
I feel like Drue Tranquill. I don't think he really gets a whole lot. He's probably one of the hardest working people that I've seen in a while. And he just doesn't quite, I don't think he quite gets the recognition that he probably deserves.
Best dress on the team? I will give it to Nas Adderley right now.
That's crazy. I don't even be really dressing up a whole lot, but
who can pull off a jumpsuit better, you or Chris?
You said jumpsuit?
Yep.
Oh, I got plenty of jumpsuits. I got a jumpsuit on now.
Best dressed on the team?
Probably be Mike Dub.
Oh yeah, I put it on.
Best dressed teammate of yours is who?
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't really been noticing people putting it on this year though.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can say yourself. That's fine.
No, I was just trying to find somebody other than me, but yeah, I put it on. I get it.
Like anybody, you ask any of our teammates and stuff, we put Miko on in the weight room or something like that. Like they know I'm singing everything. I'm like, all right, let's put any weight on there. You know what I mean?
Let's go.
That's something that gets me really hyped.
Could you pull off a jumpsuit?
No. No. Not in any capacity. No. The onesies I could pull off. I've got a nice Christmas onesie that's flannel. And then for New Year's, I do have a nice little tuxedo onesie. But no, dude, jumpsuits. No, I can't pull off the jumpsuits, man.
I would pay to see you in a jumpsuit.
You'd want your money back. Guarantee it. You'd want your money back after you see it. If this is your first time tuning in today, we have an amazing show lined up for you as we have a special guest sitting down with us to talk a little Chargers football. Somebody I think might know a little thing or two.
Your starting linebacker for your Los Angeles Chargers, a man on an absolute mission this year. We are pleased to introduce Drue Tranquill. Drue, thank you for joining the show. How you doing?
Hey, Dan, Jake, how you guys doing? I'm doing fantastic. Excited to join you guys.
Looks like you're getting some treatment, so hopefully we can have a nice, relaxing conversation. Hopefully we'll have some fun here.
Our quarterback's just outstanding, and we beefed up along the offensive front to protect that guy. I don't think, Tom and those guys were messing around. Like, they went out and got some guys, and Corey Lindsley and Matt Filer and Ode Abugier, and we really beefed up our offensive line. So I'm excited, not only what that's going to do for us in protecting Justin, but also what it's going to allow for us to do in the run game when you talk about JJ and Austin and Josh Kelly and those guys.
First of all, when I saw who I was going to, I already knew going into the draft the Chargers had a big offseason with the O-line. So I was looking forward to being around those guys.
Obviously shifting from the 4-3 to the 3-4. We want to come out and show in camp that, there needs to be two of us on the field at all times, and Coach Staley can't just get into this 5 DB look and throw, two of us on the sideline and put one of us on the field. So we got a little chip on our shoulder as inside linebackers, but we're excited for the opportunity, and this defense certainly allows us to do a lot of different things.
So when we started training camp, we know when he was with the Rams, there was a lot of DBs, and we looking at each other like, man, we really got some linebackers. We feel like we got some linebackers that can go in this room. So training camp, let's show up on tape and let's make them think a little different, So that's what we tried to do. We took it personally with this training camp. Like, Coach Staley won a lot of DBs, so come on, linebackers, let's get it. Come on now.
For you in the linebacking group specifically, what does it mean in terms of what you and the group need to focus on specifically or even tactically and work on this season?
Well, he opened up off-season meetings, Zoom meetings, and we literally just talked about technique and fundamentals. And we're like, yo, Coach, are we going to start talking a little X's and O's, getting into the playbook here? And he was like, no, we're just going to talk about tackling and taking the ball away. Tackling, beating blocks, and taking the ball away. And we literally spent the first week talking about those three things. And so I think, if I want our linebacker core to do anything different this year, it's create more takeaways, defeat blocks better, and make more tackles. Really appreciate you guys. This was super fun. Thanks for putting up with this bottoms up look for me while I'm getting treatment here. But a lot of fun, guys.
It works. This seems like it needs to be another show that we have where it's just all of the different players coming on from the training room, just having them, we need to come up with a clever name for it.
Who are some of the top offensive tackles that the Chargers should be targeting if it is indeed at 13?
And if they have the chance to draft Rashawn Slater, that's a home run for them. So, if they get Slater, they have the ability to play him at left tackle. They have the ability to play him on the interior. I just think he gives you the most flexibility, and he's one of the best offensive linemen there. They wanted to play more of off coverage. I think cover 3 stuff. Asante Samuel starts to come into the fold. Depends what they would think of his size, but I really like Asante Samuel. He's a smaller cornerback, but he gives you a lot of upside being able to play zone. He's great when he can keep his eyes on the quarterback, but he's feisty and man.
Ball hawk playmaker, the prodigy himself, Asante Samuel Jr. Thank you and welcome to Chargers Unleashed. When you talk to Coach Ainsley, what was the first question that you asked him when you guys were talking?
When I'm gonna get the playbook, I mean, I'm just trying to get ready to go. I mean, I got drafted. Now it's time to work and show why I feel like I'm the best cornerback in this draft.
The diamond in the Rumph himself.
And, I'm honored to be in, a Charger at the end of the day. My game, starts off with passion and love for it. It's in my DNA. I got a lot of family members who, play this game at a high level. So just playing, till the whistle's blown and making sure, I'm always running to the ball, trying to make a play or impact any way I can. So that goes along with the versatility of this defense that we have. We got a lot of vets, I can learn under, especially Joey, Uchenna, those two guys, I'm definitely going to pick their brains about, pass rushing. So I'm excited to learn after them and continue to, get acclimated to the NFL. Yeah, I binge watched Naruto. And also Snowfall. Snowfall was good too.
I have never actually heard of either of those, so I'm clearly late to the game.
Oh, man, come on!
I know.
You got some homework after this call.
Okay, all right, deal. I found out what I'm doing this weekend.
Who would be the realistic home run pick for the Chargers at 13?
Oh man, what a great question. What a great question. Okay, so I think it would still be Slater. I think just because of the versatility that he gives you, if you have faith that you have a better left tackle than you do an interior offensive lineman, you can play him on the inside if you wanted to. If you think that you have a better interior offensive lineman, which is easier to get, then you have a left tackle, then you could play Slater out at left tackle. And I really think he's the perfect pick for him.
Well, everybody, that was part one of Chargers Unleashed 2021 year in review. Again, it's part one. So there was a lot of moments. Part two will be releasing soon, so make sure you guys check it out. Part two year in review of Chargers Unleashed under the 2021 banner. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Look out for part two coming soon.